Okay, so this is certainly one of the ones that I've been looking forward to. One of the analyses that I've been looking forward to. Um, it's always interesting to find something on Burke, and so, like we said before, we've done the 911 call, we've done the ransom note. That's been interesting of late. John and Patsy Ramsey interviews; those are always interesting. John Mark Carr was a little bit new for me. I didn't really know anything about John Mark Carr, so that was new for me. And so going into Burke Ramsey's interview, um, so here we go. 20 years after JonBenet's death, uh, our 29-year-old brother Burke agreed to be interviewed by Dr. Phil. The three-part interview aired on Dr. Phil's show on September 12th, 13th, and 19th, 2016. And here are some excerpts from the interview. So on September 12th of 2016, Dr. Phil says, "Do you remember the last time you saw JonBenet alive?" He says, "I want to say it was in the car on the way back from the Whites." So Burke doesn't state with certainty the last time. I do have a problem with that statement. Burke does not state with certainty the last time he saw his sister alive. Instead, he said, "I want to say." He may have phrased his statement that way because he is uncertain when he last saw JonBenet alive. After all, it has been 20 years. It could also be that he does not want to tell us when he last saw his sister alive. When you say, this is why I'm saying, like, this is why it's interesting, but this is what I'm saying. It always starts off, y'all can't ever get a story together that makes sense. You just can't do it. Even this stuff, and this is why when we're looking at the depositions, we have more depositions to look at. This is why when we look at the depositions, we're always hesitant because they say stuff like this. When is the last time you saw your sister alive? How easy is that? And I remember you might say, "Oh man, I want to say, yo, we're not talking about when's the last time you saw your friend, you know, whatever. Oh man, I want to say I saw him, you know, back in last time I saw him was in Cancun." I want to say, how was he doing in Cancun? Man, he was doing great, man. He seemed like he was happy and had nothing but love. So yeah, yo, we're talking about your deceased sister. When's the last time you saw her? For Christ's sakes, when's the last time? What I am expecting to hear is, man, I remember, as I know it was 97. I remember we were in this car, because I remember this and I remember that. We're driving back from the Whites and I just saw her and she just looked so beautiful. And so then I remember getting out of the car, we're walking inside. I remember it was this kind of night. And I just remember seeing my dad take her upstairs. My mom told me I could stay downstairs with a bowl of milk and pineapples. And, you know, after that, I got up, went to sleep. My parents were already upstairs going to sleep. After that, I got up, went to sleep, and that was that. And that's the last time I saw her. But can we also acknowledge another thing? That kidnapper must have really been zoned in on JonBenet. And this is why I say that. You have a child right here. The parents have gone up to bed. Burke is downstairs eating pineapples. Right in the kitchen. Right in your face. And you wait till he leaves and goes to bed to sneak up the stairs to go get JonBenet. There must have really been something special about JonBenet for you to pass up the opportunity to kidnap a kid, to go wake a kid up out of bed, to be even riskier and wake a kid up out of bed and bring that kid downstairs. Fail at the mission. Okay. So he states with uncertainty. here. Um, Dr. Phil says, after you went to bed, did you hear anything out of the ordinary? Nope. Calling, do you recall waking up and hear anything in retrospect? Nope. So y'all didn't hear nothing? Nobody heard anything? The neighbor across the street heard her scream, heard a scream through a cement wall. And y'all telling me y'all didn't hear nothing? Okay. Let me get the timeline on that. Time did the neighbor in the Ramsey case hear a scream in the early morning? Early hours. So in the JonBenet Ramsey case, neighbor Melody Stanton reported being awakened shortly after midnight by a child's scream coming from the direction of the Ramsey house. This account suggests the scream occurred in the early hours of December 26 of 96, shortly after midnight. Thank you. Shortly after midnight. So we can narrow this thing down. But y'all didn't hear nothing? Okay. Burke answers these questions with a direct answer, no. These are good answers and might shed some light on what did not happen that night. 2 small marks were found on JonBenet's body. Some experts believe it was a result of a stun gun that was used on her. Um, Unlike what you see in the movies, a stun gun does not render a person unconscious. Instead, it just makes you angry, causes pain that makes you want to get away from the device. The person being stunned usually utters a few injections. The stun gun itself makes a cracking noise when deployed. Burke Ramsey did not hear anything out of the ordinary that night. Dr. Phil asked Burke if he remembered waking up that morning. Burke said he remembered his mother coming to his room and saying, oh my gosh, where's my baby? Okay, so we know that John went in there. And now we know from John's admission, and now we know from Burke's admission that Patsy came in. After she left, Dr. Phil says, what'd you do? Because I just lay there. Really didn't know what else to do. Fair enough. I just often use to minimize things, as we said before. In this case, he's minimizing his actions. Yeah, I just laid there. He could have just said, I laid there. I don't have any quarrels with that. However, he wants us to believe that all he did was lie in bed. Therefore, he used the word just. It's a slight indication he didn't just lie in his bed. The pronoun I is missing in the second sentence. He didn't say, I didn't really know what else to do. Missing I shows a lack of commitment to the statement. We see further problems with the sentence in his use of the word really. The word is not needed. Didn't know what else to do. Um, he adds the word really to bolster his statement, but it often weakens the statement. Possible that he used the word really to try and convince us that he did not know what to do. I am stuck. Why would she come in your room and say, "Where's my baby?" Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Where's my baby? Why is that what Patsy would say? Why would she ask her 9-year-old son, "Where's my baby?" Number one, he just read the ransom note, ran upstairs and told JonBenet was missing. Why would you run in Burke's room and say, "Where's my baby?" Burke has nothing to do with this. Why wouldn't you come in the room and say, "Oh my God, where's your sister? Have you seen your sister?" Why wouldn't she ask that? Why would she come in and say, "Where's my baby? Oh my God, where's my baby?" How would Burke know? How would Burke know that? You can't even lie good. You can't even come up with a good lie. You can't even. This is something that my dad always says. He says, when you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie to cover up that lie. And then you got to tell another lie to cover up those previous lies. And before you know it, you got a snowball of lies and you can't even remember what was actually the truth. And so when somebody catches you in something, you forget what you lied about. And this is a revolving door of lies that you got so deep in a lie, you can't even remember what you were lying about. After that, what did you do? I just laid there. I just stayed there. Okay. Dr. Phil told Burke that he found it odd that his mother would burst into his room while it was dark and make frantic statements. Later, a police officer would come into his room, shining a flashlight, and Burke's response was to lie in bed. I guess I kind of like to avoid conflict, or I don't know. I guess I just felt sick. Boy, what? See, this is why. This is exactly why they were protecting Burke from the cops. This is exactly why right here. This right here is exactly why. I guess I just like to avoid. You guess. Burke, the way I saw you sitting in that interview room at the police station, you wouldn't stop moving. All over the place. You had your feet in the seat. You're bending backwards like a dang acrobat. You're hanging over the chair, talking and carrying on. But when somebody asks you something serious in the interview, you look up at them and you get to backpedaling. What does that look like? Oh no. You think it's cereal? Nah. Can't be cereal. Too big to be cereal. And what do you think it is, Burke?